We have spent a great deal of time talking about graphing lines in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. But we've only been able to graph positives and negative slopes. We haven't graphed zero slopes or undefined slopes. Remember, a zero slope looks like this because I can make a z out of it. And an undefined slope looks like this because I can make a weird looking u out of it for undefined. Okay, so today, when we're graphing horizontal and vertical lines, this is just graphing them where I have a zero slope or I have an undefined slope. If you take a look at your examples down here, okay, notice how do these equations look different than y equals mx plus b. Why do you think they look different? Well, if you notice, with y equals mx plus b, you always have a y and an x. With these problems down here, you only have a y or an x. So whenever your problems look a little funny, where they're missing one of your variables, it's going to be a horizontal or a vertical line. And I have acronyms for you to remember that. Okay? So if we go through this, it says a horizontal line has what type of slope? So horizontal lines look like this. So what kind of slope is that? 0. A vertical line has what type of slope? A vertical line looks like this. That's what kind of slope? Undefined. Okay? These two lines are the most missed, but they're the easiest problems to graph. They are horizontal and vertical lines. How I remember them is using the words hoy or vux. Okay? So if it's a horizontal line, it's going to be a hoy line. If it's a vertical line, it's going to be a vux line. So I want you to go ahead and we're going to highlight these boxes, and I'm going to do hoy in one color, and I'm going to do vux in another color. So it stands out here a bit. Okay. So the H in hoy means it's going to be a horizontal line. The O in hoy means it's going to be a zero slope, which means your graph's going to look like that. The y in hoy means your equation has y equals and then some number. So that's what your equation looks like. Again, I apologize for my dog barking in the background. He's just there to make sure you're all focusing. So if we now talk about vux lines, the V in vux stands for vertical line. The U in vux means it's going to be an undefined slope. And an undefined slope looks like it's going up and down. And the X in vux means my equation is going to be x equals a number. That's what my equation looks like. So if your equation has just x in it, it's vux. If your equation has just y in it, it's hoy. And if your equation has x and y, then you do y equals mx plus b. Okay? So I'm going to zoom in so I can see these three problems here. Now, if I look at this first question, it's y equals 2. So y equals 2, is that going to be a hoy line or a vux line? Well, it's going to be a hoy line because hoy has a y and your equation has a y. So I write the word hoy to help my brain. So now I'm going to go over to my graph, and it says y equals 2. So on the y-axis, I'm going to plot a point at 2, if it lines up appropriately here. Okay. And now the O in hoy means it has what type of slope? Zero slope. So do zero slopes go side to side, or do they go up and down? Well, they go side to side. So I just draw a side to side line, and I put arrows on it, and I'm done. Easy peasy. If I look at number 2 says x equals -1. And x equals -1, is that going to be a hoy line or a vux line? Well, it's going to be a vux line because vux has an x and your equation has an x. Okay, so now it says x equals -1. So I'm not going to plot -1 on the y-axis. I'm going to plot -1 on the x-axis because it says x equals -1. So plot a point. So now the u in vux means it is an undefined slope. An undefined slope goes up and down, so at my point that I plotted, I draw an up and down line. So with hoy and vux lines, you don't have to worry about graphing 3 points. You need 1 point, and then you need a slope going in the right direction. If you look at number 3, Number 3, is it going to be Hoy or Vux? It's going to be Hoy because it has a y and my equation has a y. So am I going to plot 6 on the y-axis or the x-axis? Well, I'm going to plot it on the y-axis. So I'm going to plot 6 on the y-axis. And is it going to be a 0 slope or an undefined slope? Well, it's going to be a 0 slope because of the O in Hoy, so I go side to side. So I want you to go ahead and pause this video, and I want you to try 4, 5, and 6 on your own. And when you finish, unpause, and the answers will be on the screen. If you have any questions, make sure you come and you ask someone.